Long before the roads were cut into the land and long before iron roofs replaced thatch, there was a village called Ayanfe. It sat between a river that never dried and a forest that never slept. The elders said the land was alive, and those who listened carefully could hear it breathe at night. In Ayanfe, people believed that nothing happened without meaning, not the fall of a leaf, not the cry of a child, not even betrayal. It was in this village that two boys were born in the same season of rain. One was named Kola, son of Adegbola the carver. The other was Bamidele, son of Olatunji the hunter. From the day they could crawl, they crawled toward each other. If Kola fell, Bamidele cried. If Bamidele laughed, Kola followed. The women of the village would joke. These two did not meet in this life. They must have come together. As they grew, their bond grew stronger. They fetched water together, herded goats together, and learned the songs of the ancestors together. When one was punished, the other stayed nearby, silent but loyal. Yet even as children, they were different. Kola was quiet and observant. He listened more than he spoke. When elders talked, his eyes stayed on their faces. When disputes happened, he waited before choosing a side. Bamidele was bold and sharp-tongued. He laughed loudly, spoke quickly, and hated being second. When praised, he stood taller. When ignored, his smile tightened. Still, friendship covered the difference like cloth covers a wound. The first seed one dry season, when the sun burned the land without mercy, the boys followed Olatunji into the forest. It was Bamidele's first time on a real hunt. They tracked an antelope for hours until Kola noticed something odd. "The wind has changed," he whispered. "If we continue, it will smell us." Olatunji paused, looked at the boy, then nodded. "You have your mother's patience," he said. "We wait." Later that day, the antelope was caught easily. The villagers praised Olatunji, but it was Kola they looked at with new eyes. "That boy sees beyond his age," someone said. Bamidele laughed with everyone else, but inside him, something stirred, small, quiet, but sharp. That was the first seed. Growing years. As years passed, the boys became young men. Kola learned carving from his father, shaping wood into masks and stools that seemed almost alive. Elders often said his hands remembered things his mind did not. Bamidele followed his father into hunting and trade. He was strong and fearless, but impatient. When success came, he wanted it quickly and visibly. People respected both of them. But when disputes arose, when land boundaries were questioned or families argued, it was Kola the elders called to listen and speak calmly. Each time this happened, Bamidele clapped and smiled. Each time, the seed inside him grew roots. The Discovery One season, after days of unending rain, the river flooded and revealed something ancient near its bank. A group of children found it first, a large drum, half buried, its skin darkened with age but unbroken. The elders were called immediately. When the oldest among them saw it, his hands trembled. "This," he said, "is Lu Tito, the drum of truth." Stories returned like forgotten songs. The drum, they said, was created when the village was young, carved from a tree struck by lightning. It could not be owned, only guarded, and it would only stay whole in the presence of truth. A liar could not touch it without consequence. A betrayer could not stand before it. The choice. The elders debated for days. Who could guard such a thing? A warrior, too proud? A traitor, too tempted? An elder, too close to power? Finally, one name kept returning, quietly, insistently: Kola. When the decision was announced, the village gathered. Drums sounded, women ululated. Kola bowed, overwhelmed. Bamidele stepped forward first, clapping loudly. "My brother deserves it," he said. "No one is more worthy." The crowd cheered. No one saw the way his jaw tightened when he turned away. A silent shift. From that day, something changed. Bamidele still visited Kola. They still ate together. They still laughed. But the laughter no longer reached his eyes. When Kola spoke of the drum with reverence, Bamidele joked. When villagers greeted Kola with respect, Bamidele reminded them of his hunting feats. At night, while the village slept, Bamidele lay awake, listening to his thoughts. We grew together. Why does he stand higher? Is wisdom greater than strength? If not for him, would it not be me? Envy is patient. It waits until it is fed. The dangerous promise. One evening, as the moon rose full and bright, Kola spoke casually. If I ever must leave the village, you will watch the shrine for me. I trust you. Bamidele froze for a moment, then smiled. Of course. Who else? That night, Envy stopped whispering. It began to plan.
In Ayanth, time did not move quickly, it circled. Seasons returned, faces aged, but memories stayed sharp. And though the village celebrated Kala as the guardian of the sacred drum, the land itself watched quietly, as if waiting. The shrine of Ilotiti stood at the edge of the village, where the forest began to thicken and the air grew cooler. It was a simple place: mud walls, palm leaf roof, and a doorway always facing east. Nothing about it looked powerful, yet no one entered without bowing their head. Kala treated the shrine like a living elder. Every morning, he swept the floor gently, as though afraid to wake it too suddenly. He spoke little inside the shrine, and when he did, it was never a command, only respect. The drum sat at the center, resting on 3 stones. It never moved. But some nights, when the wind blew from the river, people swore they heard a low sound, not a beat, not a song, but a breath. The change began the season Kala's father fell ill. Adigbla had been strong all his life, but age arrived quietly and refused to leave. When the elders suggested herbs that could only be found beyond the hills, Kala prepared to travel. He hesitated at the shrine. For the first time since being chosen, he would leave the drum unattended. That evening, he went to Bamidele. I will be gone for some days, Kala said. I ask you again, will you watch over the shrine? Bamidele placed a hand on his chest. By our childhood, by our friendship, he replied, nothing will happen. The words sounded right. But the truth behind them was thin. On the first night after Kala left, the village slept easily. Rain fell softly, cooling the earth. No one noticed Bamidele moving through the darkness. He stood before the shrine for a long time without entering. I only want to see it closely, he told himself. After all, I protect it too. He stepped inside. The air felt heavier, as though it pressed against his chest. The drum was exactly where it had always been, silent and patient. Bamidele reached out. The moment his fingers touched the drum's skin, a sharp pain shot through his arm. He gasped and stumbled back. The drum did not move. But the air changed. Bamidele laughed nervously. Old stories, he muttered. Just fear. Yet his heart beat too fast. He left the shrine without looking back. The second night, sleep avoided him. Thoughts turned in his mind like restless animals. Why should he alone be trusted? What if the drum chose him only because he hides his ambition? What if the elders were wrong? On the second night, Bamidele returned. This time, he did not hesitate. He placed both hands on the drum. The shrine seemed to tighten around him. His ears rang. His breath grew shallow. For a moment, just a moment, he thought he heard a voice, deep and distant. Not words. A judgment. He pulled away, sweating. Fear now mixed with anger. If it rejects me, he whispered, then it has chosen sides. And from fear and anger, something dangerous formed: resentment. The following morning, clouds gathered but brought no rain. Farmers looked to the sky uneasily. Bamidele stood among them and spoke casually, has anyone noticed how the rains delay since the drum came? Some shrugged. Others frowned. He continued, softly, I heard Kala enters the shrine alone at night. Who knows what he asks for himself? The words floated, light as dust. But dust settles. By evening, the whispers had grown. Maybe the drum favors him. Maybe that is why others suffer. Power changes people. No one accused Kala directly. Yet trust began to thin. The return. When Kala returned with the herbs and his father began to recover, the village greeted him, but something was different. Eyes lingered too long. Greetings sounded forced. He felt it immediately. Kala did not confront anyone. He returned to the shrine, knelt, and rested his forehead on the cool earth. If I have failed, he whispered, show me. The drum remained silent. The confrontation grows. Days passed. The rains delayed further. Crops wilted. Fear needed a face. One afternoon, an elder spoke openly, perhaps the drum no longer approves of its guardian. The words struck like a stone. Kala stood calmly. Then let the drum decide, he said. Call the elders. Call the people. Bamidle's chest tightened. This was not how it was meant to go. The entire village gathered before the shrine. Children were pulled back. Elders sat in a half-circle. The drum stood between them all. The oldest elder raised his voice, Ilutiti reveals truth. If there is guilt, it will speak. He turned to Kala. Touch the drum. Kala stepped forward and placed his hand gently on it. Nothing happened. No pain. No sound. Peace. Then the elder turned. Bamidle, you have spoken much. Touch it also. The world seemed to tilt. Bamidle hesitated, but all eyes were on him. He stepped forward. The moment his hand touched the drum, a loud crack echoed through the shrine. The drum split, not completely, but enough. A deep sound rolled out, not a beat but a voice shaped like thunder and sorrow. Betrayal is not born in darkness. It grows in the shadow of friendship. The ground trembled. Bamidle fell to his knees, shaking. The truth spilled from him: envy, the touches, the lies. Silence followed. No punishment was given that day. The elders simply stood. Kala looked at his friend, the boy he once shared everything with. He said nothing. That silence hurt more than any words. Bamidle was not driven away. But he was no longer trusted. And the drum? The drum never sounded again. After the drum cracked, Ayanf did not celebrate. There was no shouting, no arguments, no rush to punish. Instead, the village fell into a silence so thick it felt like fog. Even the children sensed it and lowered their voices. Truth had been revealed, but truth, once exposed, leaves behind questions. The elders dismissed the gathering slowly. One by one, people returned to their homes, carrying different weights in their hearts. Some felt relief. Others felt shame for believing whispers too easily. And some felt fear, because they realized how close the village had come to destroying itself. Bamidle remained where he had fallen. No one touched him. The weight of exposure. That night, sleep did not visit Bamidle. His body lay on a mat, but his mind walked endlessly through memories: childhood laughter, shared meals, promises made without thinking they could ever break. Now, those memories cut. For the first time, he understood something the elders always said: shame is heavier than punishment. At dawn, he went to the river and scrubbed his hands until the skin burned. Still, they did not feel clean. Kalaw's silence. Kalaw avoided the village center for many days. Not out of pride or anger, but because his spirit felt tired. He continued to tend the shrine, though the drum no longer responded. The crack across its skin remained a scar no one could ignore. One evening, Bamidal gathered the courage to approach him. He stood at a distance, head bowed. "Say something," Bamidal whispered. "Curse me. Shout at me. Do anything." Kalaw did not turn immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice was quiet. "If I speak from anger, I will become what you thought I was." That was all. Those words followed Bamidal like a shadow. Judgment without chains. The elders met privately. When they emerged, their decision surprised many. Bamidal was not banished. He was not beaten. He was not fined. Instead, the oldest elder said, "You will stay. You will work. And you will live with what you have broken." Some villagers murmured in disagreement. The elder raised his staff. Betrayal is not healed by distance. It is healed by remembering. From that day, Bamidal was given the least desired tasks: clearing thorny paths, repairing broken walls, tending fields no one wanted. Not as punishment, but as grounding. Every morning, he passed the shrine. Every morning, he bowed. The village learns. Time moved again. The rains eventually returned, not suddenly, but gradually, as if the sky itself was cautious. Crops grew. Children laughed. But something in Ayanf had changed. People spoke more carefully. They listened longer. Praise became quieter, envy less celebrated. Parents told children, "Do not let comparison poison your joy." And elders added, "Do not mistake closeness for loyalty." Years passed. One Harmattan season, a fire broke out near the forest edge. Flames moved fast, driven by dry wind. Panic spread. Men formed lines with water and branches, but the fire advanced. In desperation, someone shouted, "The drum! Perhaps it can help." The elders hesitated, but Kalaw nodded. They carried the cracked drum to the edge of the fire. Nothing happened. Then, unexpectedly, Bamidal stepped forward. He knelt. Not to touch the drum but to face it. "I do not ask for forgiveness," he said. "I only ask to carry what I caused." The wind shifted. The fire slowed, then turned back toward the forest, where it died against damp ground. The drum did not sound. But the village understood. The end of guarding. Not long after, Kalaw announced he would no longer guard the drum. "Truth does not belong to one person," he said. "It belongs to all who choose it." The elders agreed. They buried the drum beneath the shrine, cracked and silent. Grass grew over it. Yet the lesson remained. What the elders still say. Even now, when the moon is full and stories are told, elders of Ayanf end this tale the same way: betrayal rarely comes from enemies. It often comes from those who walk beside you. And truth once revealed may not restore what was lost, but it will prevent the lie from ruling again. They pause. They added carefully, "Choose your heart carefully. It is the only drum that never lies."